Today you are living the life of a Huaqiangbei phone stall boss in Shenzhen. Over 30 years I worked my way from an assembly line to a market stall, witnessing the knockoff phone boom and the bitter cold of the e-commerce winter. I was born in 1985 in a rural Chaoshan village, one of 3 brothers. My father farmed, and a full year's work barely put food on the table. New clothes were a luxury saved only for Chinese New Year. At the village entrance stood a black and white TV. Every evening neighbors gathered to watch Reform-era news. Shenzhen on that screen looked like another world entirely, gleaming with skyscrapers and factories I had no name for. Uncle Chen from the next village returned from working down south in a Hong Kong polo shirt and leather shoes, carrying 100 yuan bills. That was the first time I understood the world outside could turn a person into someone completely different. In 5th grade, I found a broken radio by the paddy field. I took it apart, and its circuit board consumed my entire summer vacation. Against all odds, I actually got it working again. My father said studying was the only way out. But I knew my future wasn't in textbooks. It was hidden in the solder joints and components, waiting in some possibility I hadn't yet named. I never finished middle school. Another wave of people headed south that year. During the spring festival, I watched them board the green train and felt it more than anyone, because I still had 2 more years to wait. In 1999, at 14, I took a 30-hour train to Shenzhen. Coming out of the station, construction cranes cut the sky into pieces. I stood in the crowd with no idea which way to walk. My cousin brought me to an electronics factory. The assembly line was filled with kids just like me from the countryside. My job was to plug ribbon cables into phone motherboards 4,000 times a day. After shifts, I skipped internet cafes and spent saved meal money on a used phone repair manual. I taught myself teardowns, screen swaps, and firmware flashing. When dormitory lights went out, I kept reading by flashlight. Near the factory was a components market I visited every Saturday. I met a Guangzhou man dealing in pagers. He said Huaqiangbei was where the money was, and those words were carved into me from that day on. In 2002, with 2,000 yuan saved up, I quit the line, packed my tools, and pushed into Huaqiangbei. I set up a folding table outside SEG Plaza and started fixing phones for strangers. That first year of repairs I earned 50 to 80 yuan a day, but I read Huaqiangbei's rule clearly: buy low, sell high, and arbitrage is money. Refurbished and second-hand phones. This was a genuine underworld. Refurbishing paid better. I'd taken a cracked screen Nokia, replace the screen, reflash it, apply a protector, and sell it to out-of-town dealers. 100 to 200 profit per unit, 10 units a day. Gradually, I rented a 2-square-meter glass counter on the ground floor, stocked it with refurbished phones and parts, and officially became a Huaqiangbei stall owner, stepping through the market's front door. In 2008, the copycat phone era erupted. Shenzhen's MediaTek chipset let anyone who bought a design kit manufacture a phone. I recognized it immediately as a once-in-a-generation opportunity. I took the savings I'd built over several years, 200,000 yuan, bought a chipset solution, commissioned my own shell molds, slapped on a brand name I invented, and produced my first 5,000 units. Dual SIM, loudspeakers, scrolling LED lights. They sold like wildfire in Africa and Southeast Asia. I shipped to Nigeria, Vietnam, and Bangladesh. Payments came back within 3 months. At peak, I had 3 adjoining stalls in Huaqiangbei with 7 people under me. Every morning the account had tens of thousands more. For the first time in my life, I felt like money and I were on the same side. In 2010, I bought my first apartment in Bowen, full cash payment. My father came from the village and sat on the new sofa and wept. He said he never imagined he'd live to sit in his son's own home. In those years, Huaqiangbei was the beating heart of global copycat phones. Each day, 10,000 to 30,000 units shipped out from here, packed and loaded from Yantian port, flowing to every corner of the world. During the boom, competitors helped one another. If someone ran short, you lent them stock. If someone had a cash flow problem, you fronted the money. Huaqiangbei had a brotherhood spirit. Everyone made money together. I bought a BYD and drove to the stall every day, feeling solid inside. I thought this was it, steady income, no more worrying about money. In 2012, my best year, I cleared over 800,000 yuan net. That new year, I gave out red envelopes until my hand ached, renovated my parents' home, and finally let out a breath I'd been holding for years. I was riding high, convinced the world had been built on copycat phones, that Huaqiangbei's model was untouchable. But the wind had already quietly shifted direction. In 2013, Xiaomi launched the Redmi at 799 yuan, a legitimate chip, better specs than my copies, and cheaper too. For the first time, my gut turned cold. By 2014, overseas buyers complained our machines were getting harder to move. Local young people all wanted proper Android smartphones now. I shipped 3 batches. One sat in the warehouse and never moved. I tried pivoting to OEM-branded phones, spent over 100,000 yuan on new molds, and then compliance certifications fell through. The phones sat in customs for 3 months and were dumped at a loss. That same period, old partners either fled town with debts, shuttered and went home, or pivoted into real estate. Huaqiangbei was changing faces. Every few weeks another stall pulled down its shutter and never opened again. I consolidated 3 stalls into one, cut staff from 7 to 2. Every day I faced stacked old inventory, tasting the bitterness of days I used to spend without thinking twice. Those years my wife suggested we return home for good. I said hold on a bit longer. But honestly, I had no idea what I was holding on for. I just couldn't let go of this place. In 2016, I discounted and cleared out every knockoff phone in inventory, absorbing a loss of over 300,000 yuan. When it was done, half the shelves stood empty. I had no idea what to sell next. A friend said the volume business now was phone accessories, cables, chargers, screen protectors. Demand still existed. With nothing to lose, I converted the shelving into an accessories section for good. At the same time, I started doing used phone buyback, refurbishing, and reselling. Nothing like the knockoff days. Margins had collapsed, but at least there was still a meal in it. In 2017, Taobao and Pinduoduo drove prices into the floor. I sold a cable for 12 yuan. Online, it was 3.90 yuan with free shipping. Customers either tried to beat me down or turned around to scan a QR code. Phone repairs became my last reliable income. Screen swaps, battery replacements, camera fixes, 60 to 150 yuan per job, 7 or 8 units a day, monthly income under 8,000 yuan. That year I sold the Bowen apartment to clear the debts from expanding the stalls. I had about 200,000 left. I decided to move slowly and stop taking risks at this age. Foot traffic across the whole building kept thinning. Unclaimed display shelves sat abandoned in the corridor. Upper floors were mostly long-term vacancies. When a customer actually showed up, it felt strange. In 2020, the pandemic hit, and the market closed for 3 months. I sat at home watching the daily rent deducted from my account, unable to make a single sale. The cold reached somewhere I hadn't felt before. During the lockdown, a friend pushed me to try live streaming accessories. The first time I pointed a phone at myself, I froze midway through a sentence. It was more awkward than my very first day at that street corner. I slowly got a feel for it. Followers climbed to a few thousand. But I made honest product introductions. No dancing, no comedy. Traffic never scaled. Each stream moved a few hundred yuan in goods at best. Watching 20-something kids flip a quick dance into hundreds of thousands in sales, I accepted that their playbook wasn't something I could learn at my age. This time the era wasn't going to wait for me. In 2022, I shrank to the smallest possible stall, selling just phone cases, cables, and doing repairs. Rent I negotiated from 20,000 down to 4,500. The landlord had no choice. My son was in university in Shenzhen and came to visit sometimes. He asked why I was still here. Wouldn't it be better to try something new? I told him, son, this is the only place I understand. I can't leave. In 2023, Huaqiangbei started rebranding, with government support for tourism and social media check-ins. Young people came to photograph the nostalgia. They found it retro. I found their cameras hard to look at. Someone came to interview me for a documentary about long-time Huaqiangbei vendors. I declined. I didn't want to become a relic of an era. I was here to run a business, not to be mourned. By late 2024, I was still running that small stall. Open in the morning, close at 5. Served the regulars who came for repairs. The days had gone as quiet as retirement. Sometimes late at night, I walked through the busiest corridor from the old days and thought of 2009 at peak shipment. Shoulder to shoulder, pricing calls and drill sounds all mixed together. That was what Huaqiangbei really was. After graduating, my son joined an internet company as a product manager. His monthly salary is 3 times my current income. I'm happy for him. But sometimes I wonder, across these 30 years, did I take the right road? 30 years, from a Chaoshan village to a Huaqiangbei stall. I watched knockoff phones fill the whole world, and then watched e-commerce empty an entire street. Every tide that rises must also fall. Huaqiangbei's story belonged to everyone who dared to come here and bet everything. I walked this road to its end.